Welcome to Waking Hope, nurturing healing and opportunity to find your purpose and better me empowered lives. We are now entering an hour of growth, light, and love. I'm Christine Vibrant, and together we will delve into what makes you, you, and learn that you can and should love yourself, and how better me empowered living can access these and more. You are more than the sum of your body, your mind, and your spirit. Find yourself as part of the divine. Find healing, rest, and positivity for yourself and the entire world. Waking Hope starts now. Good morning and welcome to Waking Hope with your host, Christine Vibrant, and my very special guest, Jennifer Grace. Let's all welcome Jennifer Grace. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
We're so excited, but before we get going, we've got 20 seconds that we want to share with all of you. And this is something different. This is how we are showing ourselves some love today. Are you ready? Yay, thank you.
Always got to start with the dance party.
We do. Jennifer, why? Can you explain just real quick why this is something that I did this morning?
You did this because you know I love it. And this is the way I start most of my webinars and my courses and classes, because it just gives us joy. Dance is one of the first things I think our ancestors did to bring joy. So I'm all about bringing some joy.
That's it. It sets the tone. And I think what I loved about it the most was this was the bonus to our HCI course, which I was like, certified and so excited. And I believe it was about 3 months after. I think that's the timing. It's about 3 months. Very curious, had no idea. But I loved what I was seeing. And I thought, well, I finished my course. Let's dive into the bonus. I earned this. I deserve this. Let's see. Yes. And of course, you're just starting out your business. So you've got over all of that excitement and you're hitting block after obstacle. And you're going, what have I done? I had the confidence and this is not working. And there comes our clarity catalyst. Yes. And the first thing we see is Jennifer Grace dancing with a huge smile on her face. And it's all of these little Zoom pics. And everyone is stressed, a little depressed. Yeah, and kind of confused and going, what did we sign up for?
Who is this crazy woman?
What happens on that clarity? I know I'm kind of going way off script, but we're going to dive back in. This is emotion. This is an energy. When you started this way, what do you see as a course trainer when you started with dance, when you started with this positive energy? What does that mean?
I mean, it's just about, first of all, getting the community to connect with each other. For everybody to start saying yes, to begin to participate actively versus being a passive participant. And I just think, it raises our frequency and blows it off the charts. So, we're getting those endorphins firing off. We're putting our phones down, we're paying attention, and we're getting connected. So I think starting any workshop training with the power of dance, connection, and joy is just the best way to kick things off.
No, it sure is. Now, the reason that this is important for everyone to pay attention to is Jennifer Grace is someone who has been doing this kind of work and growing herself and her business for a long time. She was born in Brooklyn. And I'm sure that that's also part of that grit and that strength and that resilience, isn't it? Yes, based in Miami. And now for this moment, you're still in Florida at a beautiful beach spot. And I think that that's also part of that embodiment of joy and dance and celebrating life, isn't it?
Yes, we are now digital nomads. I was based in Miami for 20 years. And then when COVID hit, we sold everything, put it all in storage, and we've just been moving every 4 months to a different location and just working digitally. We're digital nomads now.
So you're still dancing across the globe, bringing joy around as you go.
Barcelona, Lake Como, Nashville, North Carolina, St. Augustine. Yeah, it's incredible.
I've said this before, I'll say it again. You're living my dream. You're living my life. I'm trying to catch up to you. I really, really am.
It's
Part of
all
this,
good. This was a dream of mine for so many years. I mean, as a mother to a young son, like when he turned 10 and I started doing this work, I was very systematic. I knew that when he turned 18, 19, was going to go off to college, I wanted to have my business 100% online so that I could do this. And it just happened that year he turned that and went to college, it was the year COVID hit. So it really was the perfect time to have your whole business online. I had been gearing up for it for years. So it's kind of interesting that happened.
It is. Now, this is the key. This is something that I have been discovering. We approach life thinking, if at first you don't succeed, try and try again. Confidence is key. We should approach everything with confidence. And that's how we really get ourselves into a spiral of sabotage.
Yeah.
You have explained, and when we did the writing course as well, you broke it down so beautifully, because a lot of people have beautiful big dreams and their purpose is apparent to them and they're accessing this power, but there's something in the way, and it's clarity. And it's taking that first step. I saw a beautiful post, and I want to bring this up. Is this like your dream? Is it a one day, or is today day one?
Oh, I love that. I just got a chill from that.
Chill. And this is it. And again, I love this, that we go off script, because people get nervous and I'm like, trust the flow. Trust the flow. Because someone's listening who needs to hear this. When you started, you had clarity in some way. How did that help you?
I think that it really helped me have a vision and an end goal, but it also allowed for me to have that kind of organically and evolve and not be too attached to that. And I think it's important to have clarity, have a blueprint, have intention, so that you know what tomorrow's step is, but down the road, being open to things changing and working out differently so that you can be more in flow.
This is it. We start, we think this is our goal, we have the clarity, and then we hit that first obstacle, or we hit that first critic, and everyone just takes, as I said, they'll just take a dump on your day.
Right.
Now, how do I stay grounded? Yeah.
Well, you stay grounded because the creative process is never great idea success. And I teach this in the Clarity Catalyst, right? It's great idea, hit the brick wall of frustration, things don't go as planned. So if you know that that's part of the process, you can be okay when it doesn't go as intended, so that you can let go of the expectation and say, okay, so what, now what? What else is possible? I know where I want to go, but I know that I've hit this brick wall of frustration. And that's when you can take a step back, reassess, bring in allies, people who've been there and done that, get more clarity. And that's where real, true creativity gets to surface up. It's like, well, I thought if, I launched my coaching business and I did this exact thing on Instagram, that it was going to get me all these clients, and then crickets. So it's like, okay, all right, well, I still have an intention of being a successful coach, but I'm going to let go of the expectation that it was going to happen through Instagram. And so what else is possible now? And for people to give themselves permission to be in that brick wall of frustration, which really makes you pull up next levels of creativity, where you're like, okay, that didn't work. What do I want to do? Like maybe I want to bring my love of dance and coaching and bring it together. So I'm going to do a 5-day dance challenge that every morning we're going to dance for 2 minutes and then meditate and then go about our days. Like I don't see that often, so doing something differently when you hit the brick wall of frustration, that's more authentically you, it's an opportunity.
I love that. And this kind of gives us an opportunity to talk about our giveaway as well. Because often when you hit that brick wall, you look around and you're like, well, what now? Who can I trust? Who can I trust? Especially if it's someone that's given you negativity. And we do find, and we've talked about this before, that the one you're spending the rest of your life with is yourself.
Yeah.
So you deserve all of your love and your energy.
Yes.
But it's also the one that you can trust. Jennifer Grace, you have a giveaway, not just for one winner, but for everybody who not only is tuning in right now live, but also listening on the podcast at any time. This is available for you. Please, won't you share how you're gifting us today?
Of course, my pleasure. So when you're at a crossroads and you're not sure what to do, and maybe you have talked to some people that have been there and done that, but maybe you've gotten some different ideas. And I think it's good to go out there and get some wisdom and listen to what other people's perspectives are. But ultimately, you need to ground in and have the final, like, this is what I get to do next. So sometimes we're not trusting ourselves, right? We might be new at something and we're doing a lot of second guessing. We're feeling we have imposter syndrome. And so we want to tap into the older, wiser, been there, done that version of us. So I have this amazing experience. It's where you get to meet your future self. So you go on kind of like a quantum time jumping experience 20 years into the future. And you want to pose a question in your mind, in your heart, press play and allow yourself to be taken on this quantum journey, and ask your future self, that older man or woman that's up on that mountaintop, that's got all the answers, because according to quantum physics, the past, present, and the future is all happening simultaneously. It's one big now. So right now we are on this podcast together. And right now we are 20 years into the future, probably in Bali or something together. Right, Christine?
Oh, I can see it. I can feel it.
In Bali together. Yes.
We are dancing on the beach. Yes.
I love it.
I love it.
So who better than to ask your, voice of wisdom, your intuitive older self? So that is the gift. And all you need to do is find a quiet space, cover your eyes, press play, think of a question. And if there's nothing you're burning to know, you can also just ask your future self when you're prompted in the visualization, what do you need me to know right now? And it could also be general. And I use this process all the time. And when I come out, I have a special journal that I write all the wisdom down. And sometimes it doesn't make sense at the time. And then later I'll go, oh my gosh, my future self said that. And it is. So that's the gift.
That's the gift. God, please go. Please. Thank you so much. Just from the bottom of my heart, my toes, my top, everything. This is a journey I love to go on as well. This is a journey I invite all of you to do. We're going to go on a little short break. While we're on that break, I'm going to ask you to head over to that giveaway. We do have the giveaway spot on the transformation page. Go and click that. Go and add that to your to-do list today. This is day one, not one day. This is day one. Go and meet your future self. Go and say hi. Go and learn the little bit of love that you have to share with yourself today. If no one else is going to show you love, why not yourself? When we come back from the break, we're going to learn a little bit more about Jennifer Grace's journey, and you're not going to want to miss this. She has got so much. And welcome back to Waking Hope with your host, Christine Vibrant, and my very special guest, Jennifer Grace, who is my guru. She's my go-to. She's living my dream life. And I'm just really excited to be sharing so much of her light with you today. Jennifer, thank you for being here with us today.
My pleasure.
How is this going for you? I know this is not something you're new to. You have had your own podcast and talk show, haven't you?
Yes, I had a radio show for about 3.5 years on Hay House Radio. And I was very lucky to be sandwiched in between Wayne Dyer and Esther Hicks. That was my time slot. So, having the godfather and the godmother in your ears and the people that I kind of came up in this world admiring as my mentors, to be sitting there with them as a peer was, that was a tremendous, amazing experience. And then I went on to also be in Miami on Jolt Radio for many, many years, and then iHeartRadio. And so people keep asking me, when are you going to do your show again? I'm like, I don't know. I did it for maybe 7 years. And you know what it's like, Christine, to produce a show. It's not easy. So I'm on hiatus. I don't know when I'll be back.
It will manifest when it's ready. The conversation
Yeah.
will come back around and you won't be able to resist it.
Yeah, it might be though comedy based, because now I'm coming back full circle to my true love, which is I was a comedic actress and improv actress. So if it is, it might be a parody podcast.
Well, I love your TikTok because that version of
Oh
you is
yeah.
really out on your TikTok. How can we find you on TikTok?
Oh, just go to the Jennifer Grace. look for the I've never farted in front of my boyfriend and we've been together for 8 years.
I
That's my
love
favorite one, when we bring in a fart therapist.
that. But this is it. You've got to keep it real. You have to laugh and love your life, don't you?
Of course. This is everything. That's what I want to do next, is transformation, through laughter, and do stand-up comedy, improv, and transformation. That's 2024. But we're here in 2023.
Well, when you're laughing, you're releasing neuropeptides, which is that wonderful protein which, boosts your immune system. I mean, what do they say? Laughter is the best medicine. It's not a lie. It's the truth.
No, it is the truth.
It is the
Absolutely.
truth. Yes. And this is what I want to encourage anyone who's listening and wanting to start out. Jennifer Grace was talking about being on Hay House radio between two icons and the nerves that must. How did you prepare? How did you navigate that, especially in the beginning? Because the reason I ask is we're off script. We don't have a script. I wrote about 5 for the show with Jennifer Grace. I was out of my mind. You're my dream person. And right now we are just flowing with intuition because someone out there needs to contact you. That's it. How did you keep steady? I mean, I'm shaking. I don't even want to show you my hands.
Well, I definitely remember day one wanting to throw up in my mouth, and I was so nervous, and oh my gosh. But it was interesting to have them in my ear. Esther was Esther was first, then me, and then Wayne Dyer. So Esther Hicks was in my ear, and I was actually listening to her show, gearing up for my show. So even though I was really nervous, she was soothing me in a way. And so I don't even know. It's one of those things. Anytime you have a high stakes situation, I'm an actor, a performer, it's a very comfortable space for me. But when the stakes are high like that, like before I did my TED Talk, before I went on my first few radio shows, I was a hot mess, but that's what it's all about: heart beating, hands sweating, knees shaking, and doing it anyway, feeling the fear and allowing that to propel you versus paralyze you, using that energy for
right. And that's beautiful because that leads into your TED Talk, which is about that moment of connecting with yourself to navigate this.
Yeah.
Let's hear about that.
Yeah. So the course that I teach, Clarity Catalyst, that you did, I'm the lead trainer for this. And I had just so many of my trainers and students saying to me, gosh, I wish we had this mindset work as a kid. I wish I had this for my kid. And finally, we had to answer that call, and we redesigned the training for kids and teens. And then I just got real passionate about, like, why isn't this, why is mindfulness not just as important as math in our school systems? Here we are, our kids are not dealing with fire drills, they're dealing with shooting drills. It's a very different time. And the fact that we're not putting mental health at the top of the list for these kids is insane. So, coming up and trying to get this into schools was tricky, and now it's on fire. I mean, now after the pandemic, it's just nobody is saying no. We're getting into so many schools nationwide, in Canada, all over the world. And it was just such a passion of mine to get this message to the masses as to why we need to teach this work to our kids.
This is beautiful. Suffering. This is beautiful. So I've got 2 questions here. One, how can we find that TED Talk?
You can just go to a million different ways. You could go to my website. It's on there under Speak. You can go to TED.com, put in Jennifer Grace or Jennifer Grace TED Talk. There it is. Million places.
There it is. And that Clarity Catalyst, because I know there's someone right now who is on fire. This is their passion, and you've just given them a door to a new path with your course. Won't you please tell us more about that and how we can contact you if we're curious and want to learn more?
Yeah, I don't teach it anymore for seekers. I only teach it for coaches. So if they are a coach, they could take it with me. And they can, again, just go to my website, jennifergrace.com, under Transform. All of my offerings are there. But I mostly just work with leaders now. Coming up in the world, I worked with a lot of seekers. I do work with seekers doing retreats. And that's on my website as well, all these wonderful retreats. But now I'm really committed to helping the light workers of the world and really empowering them to get to their next level, move past their fear and imposter syndrome, and get clear on their niches and their call, so that they can soldier out and do it. I can't do it all alone. So we need a good team and a good squad to have it happen.
We sure do. And that leads into our giveaway. For anyone that's just tuning in and that missed the first part, Jennifer Grace's giveaway today is not just for one person. This is the truest form of paying it forward. There's no gatekeeping here. Jennifer Grace is offering everybody who's tuning in right now or in the future an opportunity to meet someone very special in their light working journey. And who is that, Jennifer?
That is their future self, the older, wiser, been there, done that version of them. Who better than to guide you?
That's it, right? Who better? And thank you for opening that door. How do we find it?
I think we're going to find it on your website, probably, right? And also, if they go to jennifergrace.com, it's on there as well.
It is the future self. Yes, yeah. That's on our transformation talk, on our giveaway section. I'm going to be sharing more of that today as well, and throughout the month of February, because of course this is self-love month, as well as sharing love with others. We've got Valentine's Day, Galentine's Day, however, so many different ways of showing love. Palentine's Day for your pals,
Cute.
So this is a beautiful way of showing love, because this journey, this meditation is one that Jennifer Grace uses herself, and that everybody who has had a transformative experience, and your experience will be different on this. It is a quantum journey in the safety of your space that you choose. I like to bring a little warm blanket along because it's really soothing for me. I've got my notebook and my cup of tea for after. So the notebook is to journal, right? Every journey is different. Every experience is different. Every message is different. And in this meditation, your future self gives you a beautiful gift. Mm. And who doesn't love getting a gift? Yes. I mean, come on.
And it's interesting to think of the symbolism. They give you a gift. There's also a name that you'll get. And if it's a name that they give you that is unrecognizable, you can actually look it up in a baby name book and see what the meaning of that name is that your future self gives you. There's probably a message tucked in there.
You have messages to yourself. This is a notebook that you have special to this meditation.
Oh, yeah. Channeling Grace. That was the name my future self gave me, was Grace. And it was funny because when I became a Hay House published author, they said, what do you want your name to be on the cover of the book? And I had gotten divorced, maybe, I don't know, 7 years prior, but kept my last name of my ex-husband because my son. But I didn't want that professionally anymore. And I didn't know what my last name should be. And my assistant at the time said, well, you always talk about your future self, Grace. What about her name? And I just tried it on. And I was like, Jennifer Grace. Oh, it was like my spiritual stage name was born. And people are always like, is that your real name? I'm like, no, dude, that's not my real name. That's the spiritual stage name. Oh.
So this was one thing that came through. Now, when we're channeling our future selves, and we know that, time isn't linear, message is the same for this, isn't it? Message will not be linear in this meditation or this meeting of your future self.
No. No, it'll be timeless.
Can you give us an example that you feel safe sharing of a message that came through that was just life-changing?
Gosh, so many, Christine.
I asked the impossible. This is one of my fortes.
Yeah. I remember her sharing with me about going to Africa, actually. And it was something that I was like, I don't see myself doing that. And I was like, okay, I'll just follow that. And maybe 3 days later, I had a friend call me and say, I'm running a retreat to Africa. do you want to co-lead with me? And I was like, okay. And it's more those things, like she'll say something and then like a week later, a month later, a few days later, something will come up and it'll be confirmation that I should be doing something because she will have signaled it. So that's a lot of how I communicate with my future self, is like, she'll show me something. It makes no sense. I don't know what she's talking about. And then something will happen. I'll go, oh, that's my sign that I need to be following this track.
That is, I felt that in my solar plexus.
Yeah.
So, wow. Okay. If anyone is waiting and anyone has a big dream, today is not one day. Today is day one. We're going to take a little bit of a break. My challenge to you while you're on the break, head over to that giveaway page. Go and click that giveaway right now. Go and make it yours today. Today is day one. Listen to Jennifer Grace's story. I mean, this is fabulous. Aren't you excited to meet your future self and hear what she has, or he or they have to share with you? When we come back, we're going to hear more about those retreats, because that is also life-changing, game-changing. And welcome back to Waking Hope with your host, Christine Vibrant, and my very special guest, Jennifer Grace. Jennifer Grace, thank you for being here with us today.
Thank you for having me. This is
We're
amazing.
so excited. Sorry. See, I'm so excited. I'm just talking over you. Bad podcast etiquette.
It's all good.
So before the break, Jennifer Grace, we were talking about your giveaway, which is that future self meditation. And you shared with us a beautiful story that your future self gave you when you were wondering about going to Africa. And
Yes.
3 days later, what happened?
Boom. My friend Pamela Jones calls me and she says, I want to lead a retreat to Africa. Will you do it with me? And I was like, yep, Grace already keyed me into that. I'm in. So that's how I work with my future self. She gives me little nuggets that mean nothing, and then that comes to pass. And it's my confirmation. Yes, I should be doing this. I was already shown this. So that's why it's important to journal when you come out of this meditation, even if it doesn't make sense, and then just see what comes down the pike a little later.
And that's something I want to touch on, because a lot of people are stuck in certain forms of communication in a spiritual way. A lot of people are thoughts and prayers, but that's just asking. Meditation is opening up space for stillness. I feel that journaling is that love letter that comes through, that communication that comes through. But what a lot of my clients, and even I struggle with sometimes, is journaling. There's resistance to it. There's that schoolness, that I have to get it right. That what are different ways we can journal? I mean, like, writing down is good. This is a really beautiful way. And I always tell everybody, it's not for anyone, but you scribble, you can burn it if you want to. But what are maybe a few ways that you can suggest to get comfortable with, or different ways to journal?
Yeah.
If this makes sense.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I do believe that there's not one right way. I mean, a lot of my clients also speak it into their phone. And so they have an audible journal because that just works better for them. I also think that journaling in different spaces can evoke different moods and creativity and downloads, like taking your journal to a park or a beach, or changing the room that you normally journal in. But one of my favorite practices is something called, that I talk about in my book, actually, Directing Your Destiny. I have an entire chapter on a million different journal prompts and things for journaling. But one of my favorite is portal writing. And portal writing is to pose a question at the top of the page before you go to sleep, something that you're really yearning to know about. And it could be, you know, maybe you're having a conflict in a relationship, like, how do I resolve this? Or maybe it's a creative thing, like, what should be the name of my title of my book? Or, you know, why do I keep self-sabotaging myself and eating healthy all day? And then at, 11 o'clock at night, I pull up a chair and eat directly out of the refrigerator. I didn't know about that. So anything you're yearning to know, you put it at the top of the page, you close the book, and you go to sleep. And now this is working on your subconscious. First thing in the morning when you wake up, you put pen to paper and just answer. And in this moment, the itty bitty shitty committee hasn't had its cup of coffee. You're tapped into the twilight state, which, Einstein used to use this. Thomas Edison used to use this. What Thomas Edison used to do was sit in a chair with a fork in his hand and a metal plate under him. And as he would fall asleep, the fork would hit the pan, and in that moment, wake him up. And that's when he downloaded a lot of his inventions. So authors, entrepreneurs, inventors, scientists use this twilight state between consciousness and unconsciousness, sleep and wake, in order to tap into the wisdom of the universe, our own universal wisdom, and then get that on the page. So pairing this kind of like twilight state, portal writing, doing in the evening, responding in the morning is another technique that my students absolutely love to do. And they really access some extraordinary wisdom that way.
That is genius. Where can we find your book?
Amazon, Barnes and Nobles.
Okay, Directing Your Destiny. I love that. Directing Your Destiny.
Usually on back order.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised.
Well, I have like 1,000 students a week, so they're all buying the book coming in. So it's a lot of people simultaneously working with me.
This is very true.
Yes.
Now, one-on-one with you is a lot easier through retreats.
Yes, for sure.
Can you tell us a little bit about that? Because my mind is kind of like buzzing right now with the idea of writing and portal writing, and I want to let that sit and give anyone a chance, if they want to go and look for your book, to kind of go and back order it if they want.
Yes.
But we're going to talk about the one-on-one, because this is really magical, spending time with you.
Hmm.
What is it like to do this? How do you do this? And how do we find out? How do we get in contact with you?
Yeah, I mean, my retreats are definitely way more intimate than when I work with coaches online, because those are very large groups. But my retreats, we're doing one in Sedona, probably the max amount of people would be 40. And then, of course, I do writers' retreats, and the max amount of people there, Christine's coming to one, is only 6. So that's really delicious and intimate. And I also do lots of give back retreats. I like to do one a year. And the crazy thing, Christine, was we were launching our give back retreat. And the day the page went live, and we didn't send the email out to tell everybody, it was in Turkey. It was the day of the earthquake. And we were going to go there June 2nd through 8th this year and give back and work with women of the Middle East and raise awareness around shame killings. And it was a female empowerment trip. And of course, my partner in crime on it, Ezgi Endem, is from Turkey. They just pulled her cousins and family out of the rubble yesterday. They survived. And so, of course, we pulled the retreat. It's not safe in time to bring anybody there right now, but it was just, we're going to save it for another time. But yeah, we do these really amazing, we went to India and we raised money for women to start their businesses. We went to Africa. We raised money to help elephants that their tusks are being poached. We went to Machu Picchu with Matt Damon's water.org foundation, and we raised money for clean water in a small village. So once a year, we like to do these really big give back retreats. This year it was Turkey. And so we'll have to put that out for maybe 2024 and just kind of watch what's happening there. It's very scary. And it's, we're going to be doing some fundraising for relief. And I will definitely let you know about that, because she's there on the ground. Her family's there. So we know the right places to give to that's going to go directly to people that need. So yeah, our retreats are very meaningful and very powerful. We try to do that. And then, of course, I do writing retreats and spiritual evolution retreat. We're going to do one this year in Sedona. We're going to do another one in North Carolina in the fall. And
beautiful
stuff like
that is. I have a lot of emotion right now for 2 parts. I've spent time with Ezgi. I've danced with Ezgi on your Shine Your Light Academy. And her light is just so necessary in this world.
She's amazing.
She is. And being from Africa, elephants, they have such a connection with us. And to see what happens to them breaks my heart.
Yep.
And I want people to stop. We don't need to do this anymore. We can do better. We can be better. And when we are, this whole planet shares in our love and our hope.
Yeah.
I'm going to take a break and kind of just ground myself a little bit and have some water. While we are taking a break, I do want you to head over to the giveaway page. We have a beautiful, beautiful giveaway that we're offering. Jennifer Grace is offering this to everybody. This is the ultimate way of paying it forward and giving back. Talk about giving back retreats. This is giving back on a global scale. There is no enter to win. All you need to do is show up. Show up for yourself with your future self and give yourself that space and that grace to really tap into your innate higher self, that part of you that keeps going. Here we go. See, I've already calmed down. That part of you that's got that burning fire, right? This is what we tap into when we're going through a lot of painful emotions, or we're navigating pain, or we're seeing other people in pain and we want to give them love. It can feel overwhelming to us. But because we love, and because we love with pure intention, and we're available to ourselves, that's what hope really is to me. It's healing, opportunity, purpose, and empowerment. You don't have to change the world. That's a task that, is unnecessary to take on. But each day that you step into being a better version of yourself, 1%, 0.5%, doesn't have to be that 90-minute hero journey we talked about before, hitting that brick wall, right? Hitting that wall. You didn't fail. You learned something new. And what you learned can elevate you. You can fall apart or you can fall into place. It's your choice. And approaching it with love, compassion, most of all, clarity really opens the way. And that giveaway really gives you access to clarity. Jennifer Grace, this giveaway is so beautiful. Do you have any reviews or any stories that have been shared with you about this from your students or people that have access that you could share?
Yeah, a lot of people are in a dark place and they're a little lost and alone and afraid. And then they go on this journey to see their future self 20 years in the future, and they see them thriving and happy and successful. And it's like, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. I'm going to get there. I just saw it. And so it just gives so much hope and so much possibility.
That's it. And who better to trust than yourself? Because we've all seen the click and buy this and buy this, and my course will change your life. And we've all done those things.
Yes.
And just felt despair when it's like, is there no one I can trust? But there is. And that's your future self. Exactly. And who better to get it elevating? Today is day one. There's no more one day. Today is day one of your dream. Go and click. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to shine some real light for you. Jennifer Grace is going to tell us so much more. Stay tuned. Waking Hope. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Waking Hope with your host, Christine Vibrant, and our super special guest, Jennifer Grace. Jennifer Grace is living my dream life at the moment. She is just an amazing woman who has stepped into her purpose. And I'm so grateful to have her here today. Thank you for being with us, Jennifer.
Thank you for having me, Christine.
Now, this was a big ask. This is something that you brought up in your Shine a Light Academy. Ask me. I will be on your podcast and talk about my big wish and then my massive fear stepping in. For those of you who are catching up, I'm someone who was silent for 5 years, and it took a lot of courage for me at the age of 15 to take a first step onto a stage. And when I realized I didn't die on the first step, I took the second. And when the earth didn't end, I took the third, and I could see the platform, and it wasn't my voice, so I could speak. And the fear kind of got a little bit smaller. But fear is something that gets in the way. And this is a podcast episode that I have in a previous one called Fear Factored. Fear factored. Now that means breaking it down. When we factor something, we're making it something that's big and complicated and breaking it down into components we can work with. And often people will let fear, that big old monster, get in the way and keep them silent. But as we learned in HCI, fear is excitement on pause. Fear can be factored. And for those of you who are wanting to use your voice and write a book, Jennifer Grace has got a beautiful story on how to factor your fear, on how she overcame her obstacles and made this happen. You exited excuses. That's one of my things I'm bringing in. Let's exit excuses. No more getting angry. Yes. With love and compassion, we know that stinky self-sabotage, that itty bitty shitty committee is going to show up. We know. Okay. So we know this is going to happen. And with love and compassion, thank you for showing me the work that needs to be done. How did you do it?
Well, I think that a lot of us have these big dreams, whether it's to write a book or start a business or fill in the blank. And we then come up with the story of, I don't have the time and I'm too afraid and I don't know how, and all of the excuses, right? And I think that we've got to get really crafty about overcoming the self-saboteur that lives inside all of us. So I'll never forget that I was like, okay, I don't have the time to write a book. I'm going to create it. So what's it going to be? And I thought, I have a small child. I've got all these classes I'm teaching, coaching clients. When's it going to be? And really the only time I came up with was 5:30 a.m. And so I was very excited on the first day, and I set my alarm and went to bed, and I woke up and I hit snooze 11 times. And so, later on that day, I said, I'm going to have to get a lot more craftier because I got to outwit this self-saboteur. So I thought about, well, wait a minute. What if when my alarm goes off, it's not an alarm, it's actually an event, and there's a phrase, there's something that's going to connect me to the why that makes me cry, the reason why I want to get this message to the masses. And so I put it in my phone, and next night went to sleep, 5:30 a.m. it goes off, and I look at my phone and the event says, Jen, do you want it or not?
Oh.
And that just hit me. And I had to answer this. Do I want it or not? Do I want to take my message to the masses? Do I want to be the change I wish to see? Do I want to fill in the blank? And everything was yes. So I got up. And every single morning, I had to ask myself that question, do you want it or not? And that was the impetus that got me up. And I only had an hour. So I just would write 1 hour a day. I was able to write 500 words in an hour only then. Now I can write about 1,200 words in an hour. And in 4 months, I had a 50,000 word manuscript. It was 4 months later. So it was just about connecting to the why that made me cry, coming up with a phrase that was going to connect with the deepest part of me, not the part of me that was too tired, and just get me out of bed. So that's what I did. And when that fear of failure, that fear of success comes up for us, we have to ask ourselves, what's the worst that will happen if I fail? Or what's the worst that's going to happen if I succeed? And can I handle that? And the usually answer is yes. What's the worst that's going to happen is they're going to laugh at me, or, for success. Oh, I'll supersede my friends and family. They won't want to be friends with me anymore. And I always say to, let that be your problem, that you're so successful that your friends and family don't want to hang out with you. Like, then you could just fire up your G6 and take them all to Thailand. They'll be fine. So, Xing out those excuses.
That's it. You've got to,
do.
And if I had let fear get in the way of asking you to be on here, because everything went through my mind. She's busy. She's got multiple
and what's
irons
the worst could have happened? I could have said what?
What? No. And then what?
I could have said no. And then so what? Now what? Who else?
Yeah.
And you could have said, well, I thank you, but do you know anybody else that might be able to do it?
Yes.
That's what I always say. If they say no, ask them if there's anybody else they can recommend,
Aha. There's our aha for the day. You never know. You never know. But you will never know unless you ask, unless you try. Yeah. And the first time is always so scary. So you know what? You've done it. Once you've done it, that's the first time done. You never have to be the first again.
Exactly. And every no is secretly leading you to your yes. I remember when I was coming up as a coach, I wanted to talk to other successful coaches, and I reached out to people and I got no answer, and I'm too busy. And then I got some yeses. And it's amazing when you get a successful person on the phone. Here's the secret. Successful people love to talk about themselves. So you want to be prepared, and you want to say, I've got 10 questions. I need 15 minutes of your time, and be really not all over the place, and know what you're going to ask and the time you're going to do it. And I guarantee that 15 minutes will turn into an hour, and just take furious notes,
Yes. Someone changed your life. You've changed mine. how can those who are absolutely thrilled and enthralled and excited about this, how can they find out more about you? What's a great way to contact you, Jennifer?
Just jennifergrace.com. And whether you want to get clarity, you can do the Clarity Catalyst. If you want to go on retreats, we're going on lovely retreats this year all over the world. Or if you want to shine your light and become a published author, professional Tedx speaker, if you want to learn how to do social media or launch your own podcast or run wellness retreats, you can do that all in our Shine Your Light Academy.
That's it. That podcast, Shine Your Light episode, that was fantastic. For anybody who is interested in donating to the fundraiser, we are going to keep you informed as that kind of comes up. I'll be sharing that as well. Thank you so much for doing that, because
of course, I know a lot of people wanting to help right now. So I'm glad that we have somebody with boots on the ground. Her mother's there going in with medical doctors, and they're literally there with search and rescue. So I know that the money that we're going to be donating to will literally go to the people who need it, who've lost their homes.
And there's so many wonderful people out there. We've all seen so much global suffering, and we've all helped each other to be better. There are so many people who want to donate, even if it's just a small amount. Your Starbucks coffee for the week, maybe just gift yourself this day of not having some caffeine to see what that feels like, and give that over to someone who needs it.
Give up the jitters for something.
That's it. I really encourage anyone who wants to learn about podcasting to get into touch with you as well, because this is a journey, especially if you're not used to speaking. I am lucky to work with the Transformation Network, because they've made it easy.
Yes. I love your producer.
Right? My producer's amazing. I love this network. They are fabulous. They really are. If you're wanting to do it yourself, though, some people want DIY. Yes, we love it. Is there anything before we go today, a few last minute thoughts? I don't want to put you on the spot. There's always so many. I hate to be put on the spot for it. I go really off the rails and go, let's do something weird. But is there anything you want to share as we kind of sign off today and just go into our beautiful weekend, getting ready for the weekend?
I think just to follow the crumbs of your curiosity, to take from one of my favorite books, Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert, that, when you're in that kind of what's next for me, like, don't worry about the how, focus on the what. What is that? What lights you up like a Christmas tree? What fields of fascination can you talk about, think about, read about, speak about till the cows come home? And follow those crumbs of curiosity and let it lead you to really fully expressing yourself authentically in a way that lights you up. Because if the world was full of people who are lit up, living their purpose, we would be in a very different place right now.
Oh, we would. Thank you. That is a beautiful message. If you're wanting to know more, please go ahead and get onto Jennifer Grace's website. Head over to her TikTok as well. I love your TikTok. It's so much fun. It's just, I love to wake up to
comedy. It's transformation. It's everything.
That's it. And to get in touch with your future self, the one you trust, head over to the giveaway page. Thank us later. Don't hesitate. Remember, your dreams can be one day or day one. Jennifer Grace made hers happen in 4 months. You can too. Thank you so much for tuning in to Waking Up. Thank you, Jennifer, for being here.
Thank you. This was a joy. I had the best time. Thank you, Christine.
Yay. I'll see you in March. Guys, have a beautiful day ahead. Take care. Thank you for being on Waking Hope. As this hour of Waking Hope comes to a close, I hope you have been lifted and strengthened. I hope you have turned your pain points into PowerPoints. For more love and healing, tune in again the second and fourth Thursdays of every month at 8 a.m. Pacific Time. If you can't wait until then, reach out to me at beingbetterme.com and we'll come up with a plan together to awaken your hope, supercharge your healing, and bring your world back into balance. Until next time.